Okay, so in this video I'm going to show you how to complete Unit 4 Assignment 1 and Unit 7 Assignment 1. So what I've got together for you is some handouts that have got everything in place for you. So templates are there. All you simply need to do is just fill in the missing gaps. So I'll take you through Unit 4 Assignment 1 first, and then we'll go through Unit 7. So the idea of Unit 4 is that you identify the different training methods of physical components. So on this first sheet, as you can see, we've got the physical components in the left-hand column. What you then need to do is define the physical component and give examples of when that physical component is used in sport. So here's one I generated earlier. So as you can see, muscular endurance is the ability to move your body or an object repeatedly without getting tired. For most activities, you use both muscular strength and endurance. That was something that I typed into Google. So I simply typed in, what is muscular endurance? So I'll show you now. So, what is muscular endurance? And there it is there. Okay, so once you've found that definition there, you then punch it in. This bit here, examples of when physical components is used in sport, just use your general knowledge. So like I said, football 80th minute, struggling a defender off the ball. Boxing in the 10th round, ability to still hit powerful punches. And in rugby, continuous tackling, rucking and mauling during the match. So that needs completed for muscular power, strength, flexibility, aerobic endurance. You've got anaerobic endurance, agility, coordination, reactions, and speed. Okay. Come down further, so I'll bring you back onto the sheet that you'll need to complete. So as you come down further, next is what does sport. Now normally it's pronounced sport, but the T in fit time is exactly the same, so I've just cut it down to sport. What you then need to do is put in a definition. So again, just Google, what does sports stand for? BBC Bite Size is a brilliant resource to use. And what you need to do is fill it in as I've done there. So specificity, training must be matched to the needs of sporting activity to improve fitness in the body parts that the sport uses. Okay, so I'm just going to bring you back onto this one. So fill in the missing gap for each one, Google it, make sure you keep the log of where you get your information from, as you will need this in your bibliography at the end. So you've got sport and you've got fit. This is all stuff that you would have done in GCSE PE also. So to come down, there's just some information there for you. There's no need to work on that page there, and I've just referenced where I got that information from. Next bit. So what you need to do is you need to create some session plans for four different physical components. We've got cardiovascular training, we've got resistance training, you've got flexibility, and you've got speed. So, a session plan that you would have completed during coaching badges or any other coaching qualification that you have done, you need to think of a warm-up, a main practice, and a cool-down. Okay. So again, I'll just give you my example. So down here, so if you look at the cardiovascular one, I'm just going to zoom in slightly. So cardiovascular training, I said for 10 minutes, it will just be a gentle jog around a 20 by 20 square, cone, stopwatch and a tape measure required, and then just completing dynamic stretches at the end lasting 10 minutes. Within my main practice, I've got 3 different activities, and I've said at what intensity you're going to work for. So 65% heart rate for 15 minutes, followed by 75%, etc., etc. So there's one there for rowing machine, and there's also one there for cycling machine. Cool down, okay, I haven't got a diagram, but there's no equipment needed. I've said it's just a light jog to slow lower heart rate, back to resting heart rate, and finish with a mixture of static and dynamic stretches. So my overall objective of the session is to push the body at a maximum 75% threshold throughout the session. Body should feel 8 out of 10 fatigued by the end of the session. Okay, so that is just a generic session plan. You will then need to put one together for resistance training, which is weights, cables, that type of exercises to help improve body strength and body mass. You've then got flexibility training. Obviously, flexibility is your range of movement in muscles. So that could include yoga, different type of stretches, etc., etc. And then speed training. So you need to put one together to improve speed. Okay, so I'll bring you back onto this page again. So that's the 4 that you need to complete. Next is different methods of training. Now this might actually help you with the previous task. So you've got different methods. You've got circuit training, continuous training, cross training, fartlek training, interval training, weight training, and altitude training. What you need to do is think of or find a definition of what circuit training is. For example, what fitness components will be trained within a circuit training, and an example of a training method. So if I bring you to my example, so circuit training is a form of body conditioning or resistance training used at high intensity aerobics. It targets strength building and muscular endurance. An exercise circuit is one completion of all prescribed exercises in the program. So as you know, you've probably done it again in PE classes before. It's different exercises within a room where you have 1 minute. So I've said on here it's 1 minute to go round clockwise to do different exercises. So in there I've included push-ups, sit-ups, tricep dips, 10-yard dashes, bicep curls, squats, planks. Obviously there is a lot more that you can add in. If you want to add them in, obviously by all means do, it's your work. They then go around the circuit twice, so they do each station once, maybe with a partner, and then they move on with no rest. You may then decide to add a rest in once they get halfway, so once they've done every circuit once. Fitness components trained, I've said muscular endurance, strength, muscular power, aerobic endurance, and anaerobic endurance. You then need to finish those off there. Okay, so just take you back to the start. So for Unit 4, what are the definitions of the physical components? When are they used in sports? What is sport and what is fit? Put in the definitions. Information there to support you. Create 4 session plans. And then show your the different type of training methods that are used, obviously within exercise. Okay, so that wraps up Unit 4, Assignment 1. I'm now going to bring you on to Unit 7. Now Unit 7, where it's different to Unit 4, is now you're looking at different ways of testing physical components. So as I said, Unit 4 is how you train them. Fitness 7 is how you test. So, again, I've built this handout which very much mirrors Unit 4. So you've got all the same physical components involved. So muscular endurance, muscular power, strength, flexibility, etc., etc. What you need to do here is identify the name of the test, which is used for muscular endurance, an average result for that test, a diagram of it, a description, and then what are the advantages and disadvantages. So, if I show you my example, so this is for muscular endurance. So I've said how many push-ups you can do in 1 minute is obviously a very good test to identify muscular endurance. So I've added in there the average results, so I've got it within age ranges, and again this is stuff that I downloaded off the internet. You can just type in, so if I go back to my search engine here, so if I go back on one, so it's just a phonetic before we made this video. So that was where I downloaded it, and that was what I typed into Google. What is muscular endurance? Okay, so once you find your information, make sure you copy the link and make sure you add that into your bibliography at the end. Okay, if I show you, sorry to go back, but if I show you Unit 4, at the end of my there, I've just got, even though it's only 1, I've already tucked in a useful tool that I used for you when putting together Unit 4. Do make sure you need this, do make sure you do this, as you need this when you submit your work, otherwise you will just receive a referral. So, I'll go back to Unit 7. So, there's my average results. I copied it in off the internet, but I've referenced it at the end. I've put a diagram in of what a push-up looks like, a small description, so I've said about what the body position should look like, how far down off the floor they should go, and then back up. Then advantages and disadvantages. So an advantage of push-ups is it's specific to muscular endurance. It's very easy to complete. Tests can be completed anywhere. You could also say that you could do it by yourself, etc., etc. Disadvantages would include stuff like only highlights the muscular endurance in the chest. Obviously there's no other body part tested within this exercise, as you're not finding out your legs or anything like that. I've also said it's easy to use the wrong technique. Quite often you see people with an arched back, so therefore the test would not be reliable as it's an incorrect technique. Okay, so that is the type of information you need to get for each box. So there are 10 altogether. So as you know, they're all the same as what you have inside Unit 4. Okay, so you need to complete that information there on the fitness components testing, not training. So the final task of Unit 7 is that you need to put together a client form. So imagine you are a personal trainer, you've got a new athlete that's going to come and join your sports club. You need to create a medical form to find out their medical history. Now, I've made this as easy as possible for you. So I've put an example medical form on this sheet. So it says everything in there. So contact details, emergency details, more about you, medical history, additional information, physical examination, etc., etc. Now, what you need to do is on this spare sheets at the bottom is just create your own. Now, I wouldn't copy it word for word because obviously then your work isn't authentic and it isn't yours. But there's information there for you to consider. So contact details, for example, I would expect to see on a medical form. So that's why I've put it there, is for you to copy. Now, there are bits on here that you maybe wouldn't have. So, drinking alcohol, yes, no. Well, you might want to be a little bit more specific and find out how many units they drink per day or per week. So you may change the wording of that, and you may change it to adapt your needs. Is there, on that one, is there any evidence of taking drugs as well as smoking? So again, information that you could put in, which isn't on this sheet here. Again, information like that you most likely want to find out if they've had any previous injuries or illnesses. Do they take medication? Have they got any skin conditions? Are they pregnant, etc., etc. If they are pregnant, how far are they? So if you're pregnant, how many weeks? They just put yes or no. You see, so there is stuff on there that I wouldn't expect to see you put on there. So don't just copy this one word for word. Make sure you create it to suit yourself. Okay. If I just bring you onto this bit now, when you look at the criteria for the unit, you need to complete 4 fitness examinations. So here you've got height. So height is very easy to do. So you could obviously just get a tape measure and measure someone's height. Weight, again, is very easy. Just get a set of scales, find out someone's weight. Heart rate, you can download an app on your phone which it then works with your camera and it senses your heart rate. So again, you could do that one. BMI. Now BMI you could easily do. So if you went online and you typed in BMI calculator, you can then find out your BMI. Okay, so again, BMI would be a good one to use within your physical examination. So again, like I said, you need to complete 4 physical examinations on your individual. Have a declaration at the end to show that it is authentic, to show that it is obviously made for your athletes and that your athlete is going to carry them out. Now at the end of this, once you've completed it, you will need to print off 2 copies of your questionnaire, of your medical form, as you will need 2 of your classmates to fill these out for you. Okay, but that is it. That wraps up what you need to do. There's the sheets for you for Unit 7 medical form. Okay, once I've put the declaration in for you, so all you need to do is create your questions that you're going to ask your learner consultant. Remember, add in 4 different types of fitness tests, ones that you can actually complete and ones that we don't need special equipment for. Then that is your work completed. Hope this helps. Any questions, make sure you ask your tutor. Otherwise, good luck.